Welcome to episode number 244 of Genius Take the Wheel. It is good to see you again. I did not choose the title for today's stream until after the conclusion of New York Knicks at Detroit Pistons Game 4 of the opening round of the NBA playoffs. And the outcome definitely determined what title I was going to put on this stream. And they got a miracle. The referee swallowed their whistle at the end of the game and allowed them to escape Detroit with their second win on the road in the series. Now they're up 3-1 going back to Madison Square Garden. I like the Knicks' chances, as long as nobody gets injured, of course. So this is Genius Take the Wheel, episode number 244. And as always, what we do here is we do an autopsy of today's leg day training. I used to do this stream 3 days a week without fail. And when my leg day program went down to 2 days a week, for the most part, I'm doing this stream 2 days per week. So I can tell you that the part where you get what you need in the title, that was the leg day that I had today. I have not had a Sunday leg day this good, feeling this strong, feeling this encouraged in a long time. I've had some good leg days. I might have had one or two recently, but today was something else. I felt no problems with either of my knees. There was nothing wrong with my balance. I did not feel overly fatigued. The warm-up went great. The the working sets were, I don't want to use the word easy because you almost feel like you're going to jinx it, But I had, proper sleep the night before. I had proper nutrition leading in. And this is something I thought about last night because I don't really enjoy eating. I tend to put it off. And my last meal of the day tends to be around 10:30, 11 o'clock, sometimes midnight. Sometimes I'm still chewing at 1:30 in the morning. And it makes it where I'm not hungry at all when I get up during the day. Yesterday, I had somewhat of a rest day. We did the Filthy Casual MMA watch party on TSP. And I ended up taking forever to eat my post-lunch sandwich. So I just had a protein shake and went to bed. I did not have my last meal of the day, which is generally like, I just didn't feel like forcing it. It probably would have taken me 2 hours to finish one plate of food. And, it's usually not good to skip meals when you're trying to build muscle, but I probably wasn't going to process that food very well in my sleep anyway. And so going to bed with a little bit more of an empty stomach, I think might have played a role in the increase in quality of my sleep. And I wasn't really hungry when I got up, but it also didn't take me an hour and a half to finish my breakfast. So made me feel pretty good. Everything kind of worked out. I got my vitamins, got my pre-workout in, and things just flowed pretty smooth. It didn't take me a billion years to find parking this morning, although I did leave later than I intended. But I ended up getting to the gym at a decent time, but I was having so much fun. And some guy wants to talk to you and he's really nice, so you're like, all right, cool, you're gonna have this conversation, at least somebody's friendly here. So a couple of cool characters that I met in the gym with cool stories, and always widening my social perspective. But then, of course, I leave the gym, I do a little bit of live streaming for you guys, and then for the most part, I'm just like not dealing with other people. Pretty much hang out at home by myself. So, the warm-up was flawless. The first 2 working sets were too easy. When I went down to 205, because I also added a rep from last week too. I went 2 sets of 7 at 245 in the squat, and then 2 sets of 7 at 205, dropping down. And then I added a rep to my post squat leg press. I ended up doing 3 sets of 9 at 405, and that it almost, again, I don't really want to speak too loud, but it was a little bit easy. Definitely easier than the work that I did last week, and I did more reps this week. The deadlift was, again, made me feel really good about what I was doing. I kind of took my time with it, but the warm-up with the RDLs felt super smooth. I might have felt like a little bit of funniness at the bottom of my left knee. That also cropped up again when I did the leg curl. But once I started focusing more on the hamstring muscle, that discomfort kind of took care of itself. But for the most part, today was just came with a lot of good feelings. I haven't been this at peace with my leg torture in a long time. So, I didn't have any problems getting out of bed today. I knew I was going to train. I didn't have any contraindications to training: mental, emotional, physical, nutritional. Everything kind of went the way it was supposed to go, and I have to say I'm very thankful for that. Obviously, you could probably say that the training took too long, but it wasn't like it took too long because I was just so destroyed and out of breath and dreading the next set. It wasn't any of that. It was just talking to people, helping people out, giving people tips and pointers, because I'm most at peace when I'm teaching. And so, yeah, I ended up getting what I needed out of today's leg training. And even better than that, I got what I wanted in a New York Knicks playoff victory. And the Knicks did not really play well in the second half. They did not play well in the second half, and they had an injury scare to Jalen Brunson near the end of the third quarter. I thought he was done for the year. I thought he might have tweaked an ACL or re-injured his ailing ankle that kept him out for a month. And he came back on the court, and he was moving just about as well as you've ever seen him move. In fact, he scored almost half of his points after the injury. Oh, there's a place called Schmackery's Lip Smacking Cookies. I may have to come here. I may have to go there. Near Times Square, there's a place called Schmackery's Lip Smacking Good Cookies. I don't think Mrs. Evil's going to see this stream, but I do believe that she will be interested in whatever they have to sell. Gottfried Wegenmuller is here. How you doing, buddy? It is good to see you. Thank you for stopping by and dropping that super chat on us on TSP last night. I really did appreciate that, good sir. But yeah, I'm gonna try that Schmackery's cookie place. You know, we have a couple of gourmet cookie spots here in New York City, and I've never heard of Schmackery's. So I'm pretty sure that I'll probably hit, 40% of my daily caloric needs off one or two of those cookies. So I am looking forward to that. I don't want this doofus to bang into my car with his bike. All right, so the Knicks are playing a Detroit Pistons team that is super duper physical. They're also very disciplined on the defensive end as far as the rules and how they are enforced during the NBA playoffs. They don't enforce the rules the same during the playoffs as they do during the regular season. And I will say that I do have a problem with that. The rules are the rules, right? So when it comes to physicality in professional basketball, we cannot say that that illegal contact is okay during the playoffs, but not okay during the regular season. So then you get these, really unfortunate situations like with JB Bickerstaff and the Detroit Pistons are facing now. They're down 3-1, and Tim Hardaway Jr.'s three-point attempt, it did not really look like that much of a basketball play in terms of him trying to hit the shot. It looked more to me that he was looking to get the defender in the air to draw a foul and to get the free throws that go, with that. So I don't like the fact that it seemed that Tim Hardaway Jr. was not actually trying to make a real basketball play or a real attempt to try to hit the shot in the corner. I don't like that too much, but that foul is called 99 times out of 98 during the regular season. And if it's a foul in the regular season, it should also be a foul in the playoffs. Now, on the flip side of that, there were a lot of fouls that were committed by the Detroit Pistons that were not called all afternoon long. So, Detroit does have a reasonable gripe when it comes to the end of the play foul call. But when you actually look at the totality of the game and the favorable whistles that they got during the game, perhaps that shot is not available to them if the referees were calling the fouls against them throughout the game that should have been called. So obviously the optics are going to look bad. Any call made in the last 2 minutes of any basketball game are going to be weighted differently than calls that are made in the first quarter or the second quarter. But it is a controversial end of the game. I'm pretty sure that the 2-minute report will show that the referees made an error in judgment by not calling the personal foul on, I believe it was Josh Hart, as he contested the desperation heave from Tim Hardaway Jr. But again, what they're not going to tell you is all of the foul calls that should have been called in the New York Knicks' favor throughout the game. So I don't know. It's not a win that you're proud of, but it is a win that you are happy to get because the Detroit Pistons of 2025 are the most physical team in the NBA. And I think that it will toughen the Knicks up for their next opponent because their next opponent is not going to be nearly as physical with them as the Detroit Pistons. So the New York Knicks might pick up a little bit of an added bonus in the difficulty rating of their opponent being so physical. and it looks like they're going to face the Boston Celtics in the second round. And I expect the Knicks to lose 4-1, 4-2. But I do believe that there is a chance that the New York Knicks could end up winning the series because of the harrowing experience of having to deal with the physicality of the Detroit Pistons and really not getting the calls from the referee from the most part. There are a lot of fouls that should have been called in Game 2. Who knows, the Knicks could have swept the series and have been done already. But now they got to go back to Madison Square Garden for Game 5. Last I checked, the New York Mets were leading 7-2 deep in the game. The Mets are just not giving up any runs. And it's weird. It really is weird to see that, a lot of us fans looked at what the New York Mets did with the roster in the offseason, and I would say that we were mostly happy with what we saw with the players that they signed on the offensive side. But, I mean, the pickups that they got for their starting pitching were pretty bad. I mean, they picked up the worst American League pitcher that had, almost a 7 ERA for the California, LA Angels of Anaheim, of the West Coast, of the United States of America, of the Western Hemisphere, of the planet Earth, of the solar system, of the Milky Way galaxy. I always make fun of their team name because it's super long for no good reason. The wind is so strong, it's actually blowing the car I'm sitting in. This is insane. The Mets, again, are just not giving up a whole lot of runs. Even when they lose the game, they're still not giving up a lot of runs. And I know that the shoe has to fall eventually. They're going to have a blow up. I mean, we just lost AJ Minter to what they're calling a lat strain. Originally, the diagnosis seemed to be that there was something wrong with his triceps, but they're calling it a lat sprain. He's on the disabled list or the injured list. And wow, this wind is insane. It is really nice to look up at the scoreboard, and it's another game where the starting pitcher didn't give up more than one run. It's another game where the bullpen is kind of holding it together. And regardless of the failures of the New York Mets offense, they are still finding ways to win most of the games. They're even winning games that they don't deserve to win, which is really not the way that the New York Mets history has gone. Like, my car is actually rocking from the wind. Holy crap. It's actually quite unsettling. So, it looks like I'm going to be able to, celebrate a New York Mets victory today. I'm going to be able to celebrate a New York Knicks victory today. Obviously, my New York Rangers are eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. But, again, you can't always get what you want. But you can sometimes get what you want and get what you need. And that is basically the theme of today's stream. I don't want to say it was a super easy leg day, but it was just great. I'm recovering well. I'm enjoying the process a little bit more. Sometimes, to get the gains you want, it doesn't have to all be, just gritting through suffering. Sometimes when you get that when you get your program modulated properly, you can see a lot of gains without, a lot of psychological stress or burning yourself out physically. So I'm doing a little bit better when it comes to, you know, being a little bit fresher physically. And now I'm starting to see some of the benefits of that mentally. So, my legs had a pretty good pump. I already had, I had a raw RTD salted caramel. Salted caramel RTD, or ready to drink protein, for post workout. I got it from the gym. That shit cost $5. God damn it. But I gotta say, very happy. It tastes really fucking good, and there was no carrageenan in it. And it looks like they also use a whey protein isolate in there. So I might give raw a look. They had a little bit of cellulose in there, but I could live with that. It was at the bottom of the ingredients list, so I could probably live with that. But that salted caramel tastes good as fuck. I mean, the Dymatize tastes really good too. Both use a whey protein isolate. Both have 30 grams of protein. I will say that the raw had 60% daily value of calcium. I don't normally get that. I don't really get that in a lot of the other products. So I am kind of excited to see, maybe I could see if I can get, some cases of raw, ready to drink protein, and get that in that salted caramel, and maybe keep some in the fridge. Kind of, a variety of different flavors, I think will be pretty good. So I think I'll definitely take a look at that product online and talk to Mrs. Evil about it, and probably maybe get a couple of containers of that, because that salted caramel tasted good as fuck. But right now I gotta go home and eat some lunch, and then I'm gonna have another recovery protein shake after that. And then I don't know, I'll talk to the ladies and see. I do have a session with a client. Maybe we'll go to the movies tonight or something, I don't know. But I do want to thank you guys for continuing to support what I do on this channel. Hit the like button if you see the value in doing so, if you like what I do here. Keep us updated if it is in fact good. No, it's fucking amazing. I'm trying to tell you. I don't know if you get raw in Europe. There was a protein shake that I liked when I was in Germany, and I think like the name of the company is something USA, and they don't sell the product in the USA at all. So that was quite annoying. But the raw brand, RAW, the salted caramel taste, that shit is really fucking good. And it's got a lot of sodium in it if you need to keep your electrolytes in balance. I think using it post workout is really the sweet spot for that product. So anyway, let me get out of here. Again, much respect and much love to you guys for the support that you guys continue to give me on this platform. Obviously, it's very difficult to break through on YouTube these days because it's so saturated. There's so many different channels that you guys could be watching. So I do appreciate the fact that you do stop by and find out what I'm doing on these heavy leg days. And maybe if I could, get some more viewers on a more regular basis, I'd do more live streams after my upper body workout. So if you guys are interested in, kind of hearing me kind of break down what I'm doing for my upper body to try to grow and to get stronger, stick around and hit the comment section and say, hey, I want to, get some post upper body streams going, then, great. I'm gaining a lot of muscle at an advanced age without steroids. So I think that the information I can give you guys is actually pretty valuable, because really all I've done is kind of zero in my diet, keep my life, pretty easy going. And I train very hard. And I mix training very hard with training smart. So, my joints are very healthy. Wow, that wind is really insane. I feel like like my car is gonna flip over. I don't know if you guys can actually hear the wind, but this is insane. Wow. If I had that big ass MAGA truck that just went by, maybe I would be a little safer. But no, I'm in this tiny convertible. I don't know if you guys can hear that wind, but woo! I can see the panels, the quarter panels on it looks like a Hyundai Sonata, actually vibrating in the wind. This is really crazy. So, I mean, Mrs. Evil's driving the SUV, so she'll be fine, but I don't know. I might get out of this thing and be blown up the block. But anyway, thank you, Godfried, again. Thank you, you guys, that support. And again, hit the comment section if you want me to stream after upper body workouts and give you the breakdown of what was done, why it was done, and why it was a good or a bad session. And feel free to ask questions about, things that you would like to accomplish. And until then, if you don't see me before then, you'll find me on Wednesday morning. All right? Thank you so much. I'm out of here. Peace.